Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to be showing you how to quickly set up the FMS in the PMDG Boeing 737-700. If you're like me, sometimes you don't want to be flying for hours, only spend 3 hours of that time actually getting your FMS programmed. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to program this FMS very quickly, and we're just going to go through the absolute minimum components of it. So I'm not going to waste any time here and basically get to it right away. First things first, we need to make sure everything's all set as far as our fuel and payload goes. You don't want to be going too far past this stage without making sure it's all at the levels that you want. Being able to figure out roughly how much you have, there's a great website called SimFuel for that purpose. This looks pretty good to me. I like that. I'm not going to change any of that. Doors, we're going to go ahead and close all the doors. We've got ourselves the pushback options here. That looks pretty good to me. Ground services, we're currently plugged into the ground power unit. We don't want to be plugged into the ground power unit, but in order to do that, of course, we need to make sure that we have our APU running, which is going to take a few minutes. Of course, we have our wheel chocks. We can remove those at any time and engage our regular old parking brake. But again, we're interested in the FMS today. We're not going to be interested in the actual setup and start of the plane. So let's do it. So I'm going to go over to my init ref first by pressing our return button. We're going to go all the way back to our main menu here. We're going to press FMC. Press clear. Don't mind that. It's always going to do it. Init ref. It's going to ask us for a lot of different buttons depending on what we're doing. Now, if we were already in this kind of pre-flight stage, it's going to take us to the perf init page. We don't want that. So I'm going to press RTE. So all we're going to do is enter 3 things. So we're going to enter our starting point, which for us is going to be Groton, New London. We're going to be introducing our destination, which is going to be BWI, just like that. BWI, just like that. Pop that one in there. All that's going to do is going to do those 2 components. We're going to go to the next page, and we're going to add a single waypoint. In this case, we're going to do Medina, because why not? 2, and it's going to ask us to activate execute. That is as much as we need as far as this particular component does. What some people like to do is they go to departure. They like to pick the runway. Obviously, we're going to pick runway 5. Some folks like to go back to the index again. Departure, arrival. Obviously, you can pick individual stars, but again, we're trying to keep it simple today, so I'm going to take 2-8. Of course, if you pick those options, do yourself a favor, press legs. Go ahead and delete the discontinuities by going ahead and selecting and just making sure they're not there. Press execute. Done. Moving on to the next part. So we're going to go to performance initiation. There's a lot of good choices here as far as this goes. We have a gross rate cruise CG. All we can do is there's a lovely button that says perf init request. We push that button. When you do that, it's going to attempt to load all of your data. Keep in mind, we can pop all this stuff in ourselves. Once this is done, it's going to send a request to a central command. It's going to do a bunch of calculations. It's going to say it's ready to go. All you do is you press the load button like that. Press execute. It'll go 1 through, 3, 2, 0. That looks good to me. Again, the PMDG folks did a great job getting this up. I like to use a higher cost index because I don't have to pay for gas. We're going to go to N1 limit. You have plenty of choices here. We are at Groton, New London, so we're going to be taking a bump takeoff here. We're going to use the standard climb. Go to the takeoff page. Of course, we're going to be doing 15 degrees of flaps because it's so short. And there's this great thing here that says CG. We're going to click this button right here. It's going to calculate the CG. We press it right there. 1, 2, 3. That's it. We're done. That's as much work as you'll need to actually get everything set up. Keep in mind there are other components here. We'd come over here, we grab that V2 value, we dial this in here, it'd be 128. We come here, get all our engines started and everything along those lines. But the purpose of this is to show you just how quickly you can get the FMS programmed in such a state that you're able to basically get it started, take off, and enjoy your flights. You enjoy too.